Okay, welcome, welcome. Hope everyone is having a lovely Sunday. I just wanted to paint a floral with you guys today. I'm going to be painting my water droplet loose technique floral, the one that looks really magical, but really it isn't. It's just pigment and just a tad bit of restraint. I'm filling up my waters here, one for my dirty, one for my clean, one to wash and one to rinse. This is what we're going to be painting today. And I'm going to be using this cold press paper. This is by Bees Company paper. And I'm going to use, this is my White Nights. This is the Broom series. I love how these colors granulate. It's like a 3 tones in one. And I'll also probably use a little bit of this red cosmic color from this Kuretake. I'm not even sure how to pronounce it, but this one is my new obsession for right now. I'm loving it. And I'll also use a tad bit of this fine art watercolor pigment. This is like a very I guess it doesn't stain, it just bleeds really well. So I really like that one. Hi guys, welcome. Good to see you. If you want, you could say hi, tell me your name, tell me where you are in your painting journey, if this is something you've been doing for a long time, if you're new to it. All right, and then also I'm sharing today, I'm going to be using a brush, well, 2 brushes, and this is from my signature brush set. I'm sharing it for the first time on YouTube, so it feels really special to share with you guys. I'm actually designed these or selected these with Famui. We partnered together to design these, and this are brushes that I generally reach for when I'm doing my loose kind of style. It comes with a mop brush, a round brush, a dagger, a calligraphy, and the extended point. So I'm going to be choosing 2 brushes from that today. I'll be using the extended point, and let's do the mop brush. So the size 6, and this one is a size 8. Okay, and I'll try to also link those down in the description below, as well as all the other materials. I'm really not sure if my links work, but if not, they're also found in my bio. If it should automatically give you a 10% discount on it, but if not, just use my name as a code and it will. I'm also going to be using, let's see, a paper towel. Oh, we have to can't forget the gold. I'll do probably a little bit of the CSY gold. Let me get that activated. Hi, you're a beginner, Judith. So nice to meet you. Yay, from New Jersey. Shari, is that how I pronounce it? From Canton. Oh, so nice to meet everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. All right, I am just going to dive straight in. This is what we're going to be painting today. So if you'd like, you can paint along. If not, just save this video for later. Let's see. So I'm going to be starting off with, well, let's mix this together so you can see it. I'm going to start off with this evening broom color. And this is, I'm going to wet my brush here. And the consistency of the pigment matters. So right now it's kind of very sticky and honey-like. So I'm just going to put a little bit here on my palette and wet that a little bit because I want it to get to a consistency that's milky. Think melted ice cream. So we just want to get a good amount of that going. I have a paper towel here so I can always wipe off. And then I'm going to use a little bit of this cosmic red. Get a nice amount of that on my palette. I want it nice and juicy. Okay, so I'll start off with this color. And if you notice, I'm just really soaking up my brush. I'm twirling it in the pigment. I'm getting it so my brush is fully loaded, so it almost like just drips for me. And we're going to create a circle with this. So now it's going to be, let's say, start probably about here. And you see how it just kind of drips off of the brush? That's what we want. And I'm going to make a circle to just start off with the shape of this. And we'll just put it in a circle shape. So that's good. And then I'll clean that off and pick up another color. Hi, Shawnee. Started watercolor last year and I love your videos. Oh, thank you so much. I so appreciate that. You guys are so sweet. I appreciate all the encouragement. I really do. Okay, and then I'm going to pick up, let's see, this is the evening broom. I'm going to add a couple of drops in between. Okay, so we have two colors going on. You can really do this with minimal colors. You can do this with one color, honestly. I really like the granulating pigments because you're going to get a lot of colors just from one color, and it makes it look really advanced when it's really not. It's really the paint doing all of the work for you. And then I'm going to do just the tip of these fine art watercolors. These are really concentrated, so I'm just going to use a little bit and do it straight out the tube. Just a few little dots here. There we go. All right, and that's it for the pigment at this part. And now I'm going to come in with the water. So the water I kind of use as an outline. Oop, that's running out kind of fast. Let's try that again. So this kind of comes as an outline. I'm using this water dropper tool. You do not have to use this. You can honestly just use your brush to kind of place the water if you want, or just, you know, load your brush with water. I use them because it acts as a guideline for me, so I can almost see the flower taking shape before I even start. I hope you guys can see that. I'll do a couple more. If you end up adding too much, you can always pick it back up with a paper towel, or you can use your brush and kind of just absorb some of it. So I'm going to rinse off my brush and I'll show you how I do this. Now, I had a question the other day where someone asked me, they were telling me that when they try this technique that it becomes really muddy for them and they start making a complete mess. So I'm going to try to walk you through that the best I can today and show you how to avoid that from happening. So let's see, now let's use the mop brush. I'm gonna pick up a lot of water in my mop brush. These hold quite a bit of water. I'm gonna hold my brush kind of far back. I don't wanna hold it too close down because that gives me too much control. So to keep it loose, I hold it far back and I just wiggle and disturb this water. Okay, leaving little white gaps in between. And then I take the tip of that brush and just prick the pigment. And the pigment is going to run into that water. Now the important part here to make sure it doesn't turn out muddy for you is to clean off your brush in between each petal. Rinse it off and pick up clean water again. And then I'll just do the next one. And just kind of prick it and let it flow into the water. Again, clean off your brush, pick up some clean water, and you just repeat this process all the way around. And you want to leave those white gaps in there because it's going to give you that contrast that you need and not make your painting be flat. And then I'll just even kind of tap this petal against the petal beside it so they can borrow each other's colors. And less strokes is more. You want not to keep disturbing it. So once you've actually allowed it to release, just leave it alone and let it naturally dry and do what watercolors do best. I'll do this one and say, hi, Sasha. All right, I'm gonna prick this. There we go. And you see how it gets really light at the edge? That's what you want. It's gonna give a nice soft look at the end when it dries. And when these colors just softly transition into each other, it creates these really pretty effects. I'm gently just brushing this against the pigment, having minimal movement here. Add a little bit more water here. Hi, Julia from Canada. Wow. All right. Do another one right here. I'm going to let this petal touch against this one so it kind of bleeds in. And just prick the pigment. Ah, I love that part. And clean it off. And then for the last one in between here, let's just let that bleed all together. Okay. So now that we have pretty much the outside of this, I'm going to just rinse this off and I use water almost like it's a color in itself. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water to the edges of these to just kind of soften these out and let that color bleed into wherever the water is. Just like that. And then I will take whatever's left over in the middle and just create this little circle here. I'm just kind of moving it around, just wiggling it. I'm not covering up all the white. I want to leave some of that white there. And then I can even clean off the brush and pick up a little bit. So this is creating a thirsty brush when it's clean, and when all the water is out of it, I can come back in and just slightly go over it and lift out some of that pigment, which will give me a lighter color in here, so you have those varying values coming through here. All right. Now I'm going to pick up a little, let's see, of this mystery black. I want a dark color for the center. So I'll use this a little bit thicker. I don't want it to be runny because it will bleed everywhere. So I want the pigment to be a little bit thicker. And I'll just tap it along here. It's still very wet. And this isn't a true black. This is like a almost brownish. Tap some of that around. There we go. And rinse this off. Now I'm going to leave this be for a little bit, and I want these colors to kind of just blend and merge with each other and just start speaking with each other on the paper. And while that is setting up, actually let's pull this out a little bit more. While that's setting up, I'm going to work on the stem. So to find out, let's see, maybe kind of figure out where you want that stem to be, maybe coming off of here. So I'll just add a couple of droplets. Again, this is just going to give me an outline of where I want this stem to be. And then I'm going to come in with this green. Hi Tina, what brush am I using? I'm using a mop brush, a size 6 right now. And this is from my signature brush set that I just came out with. I'll try to leave the links of everything below so you guys can see it. If not, you can always just go to the links in my bio. I really am not sure how to share links. I apologize. Now I'm just going to drop in a little bit of green pigment into that and clean that off. And I think I'll come in with my extended point so that way I can do a little bit more of a narrow shape here. And I'm going to drag this color or this brush through this color all the way down. And you see the water just chasing its way down? That's what we want here. I want it nice and full of water. So then when I pick up a little bit more pigment and I drop into it, it just will bleed within that stem. And again, a little bit of movement. I'm not overdoing it. I'm not pushing the brush back and forth too much. Just little taps here and there will do it. Am I giving private lessons? I only have a subscription over on YouTube that I do, where it's just like a private description. I mean, a private lessons where I pretty much show what it is that I'm doing, and we have like a little group chat in there where we can all ask questions and share our work. But that's the only thing that I'm doing right now. Hopefully this year, my plan is to start a Patreon if I can figure it out. We will see. I'm working on it. I'm working on it, guys. All right, let's see. Now I just added a few droplets off to the side. This is going to be where I create my stems. So using the needle or the extended point, I'm going to take just the tip of it, press it down to the belly, and just give a little wiggle because I don't want this to be an actual shape of a leaf, but just the illusion. And that's really what everything is. You just want to give the illusion of what it is, the illusion of petals, the illusion of leaves. And I'm going to take that water that's there and I'm going to bring it and touch that stem. And the color that is in the stem will now bleed into wherever I just have this water. It's just going to follow wherever the water is. And the tip of this brush, it kind of almost acts as a pen. So you can just use it to draw with and make little marks. I'm going to pick up a little bit more of this green pigment over here. I don't know if you can see that here. I'm just going to thin that out a little bit. And tap it in here. So I'm not really doing much other than just tapping the pigment into the water and leaving it be, letting it just sit in there. And when it dries, it works its way through the water and it just does what watercolor does best. I'll do the other side. Where are my paints from? I get them on Amazon. So I'm using 3 different ones right now. This is the White Knights. I'm using a little bit of Dr. P.H. Martin, and I'm using this Kuretake granulating pigments. Alright, so I'm going to disturb this water. Again, I'm going to press the brush down and wiggle and just kind of make the illusion of a leaf. And taking the tip of this brush, I'm almost like I'm poking the stem that's full of water so that it all bleeds into where this shape is or wherever the water is. So it's very light in value right now. And then I'll pick up a little bit more pigment and just kind of tap it in to a couple of areas so you get varying shades going on here. And give you those little soft transitions. Just leave that. And then I will also pick up just a little bit of this color and splatter just a little bit. That just adds a little movement. It keeps it loose, adds a little texture. And my brush is just fully loaded with water right now, and just a little, it's pretty almost like dirty water is really what it is. But it just adds a little looseness to it. You're welcome. Okay, and now I just have plain water in my brush, and oh, hang on a second. Nope, there's a little pigment there. Let's see, some plain water, and I want to loosen up these edges just a little bit. They've had time to sit here and start soaking into the paper, so just to give it a little bit of a looser look, I'm just adding a little bit of water to kind of spread these out. Make it a little looser. And I can come back in and pick up a little bit more pigment now that it's had time to sit here. And just on the edges, I'm just tapping a little bit of this pigment and letting it bleed into it. Just this will define the edge a little bit. And I'm not doing it to all of them, just a few, just to give a different value in here. Maybe touch on the side here. There we go. And then that way it's not just so flat, and it will give it a little something to it. So all of this is still very wet, or more, I would say more damp kind of now. If I do it where it's dry, you're not going to get any movement, and then wherever it's damp, you'll see it kind of just spread and bleed in there. All right. And then I cannot forget my gold. This is my CSY pigment. These are metallics. I love these. These such pretty colors. You can see which one I use the most. And this is fairly inexpensive. I think it's like $9 for this set. So pretty. And I'm going to take some of this and tap just a little bit in the middle, because everything is better with gold, in my humble opinion. I'll even tap a little bit into these petals here. Let that bleed. Just give it a little extra interest. So beautiful. Thank you so much. Oh, it is so hard to know when to stop. I suffer from that all the time as well. But I think so much happens when you just walk away. You can always come back to your paintings and add to them. So I try to tell myself, okay, walk away. If I need more later on, I can always add more later. But it's hard not to want to keep adding and playing with it. See, like right now, I should be stopping. I really should. I'll add a little bit of green. And let's add a little bit of gold splatter, because why not? There we go. And you see how the edges are just kind of defining themselves. You have like where the water is here, and it's just kind of drying on its own and creating those petals without me doing anything. You don't want to overly fix it. I just let it be and let it do its thing. Thank you. All right, so I think that's it. Oh, the most important part. How can I forget? Always sign your work. I'm going to use my Ferris wheel fountain pen. And I'll just sign it. And that shows me that it's complete. All right, so I hope you guys try this. I just wanted to come on and just do a little demonstration. I haven't done a live in a while and show you guys and walk you through how I actually do it. I know I do a lot of shorts, but this is kind of a little bit more in-depth process. Um, the takeaways is just less strokes. Make sure to clean your brush in between each petal. Um, use a milky consistency pigment and just let the water lead the way. It really does all of the work for you. In fact, let me just soften this edge a little bit more. See, and even when I just bump the edge and just let it go into the water and soften up the edges some. And even if it kind of looks funny when you're doing it, when it dries, you're gonna love the outcome if you just kind of step away and just let it do its thing. Thank you for your time. Oh, my pleasure. My absolute pleasure. You're awesome. Thank you. So helpful. I broke my back last year and started. Oh my goodness, that's horrible. Oh, that's so. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But I love that you're doing watercolors. It is a very calming and therapeutic, um, I guess, craft to do, and it adds so much to my days. So thank you guys so much for joining. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. I hope you try this for yourself and that you have fun with it and you don't feel stressed out by it. If you have any questions, which you guys do, just leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer them when I can. Um, Again, all the materials I'm using should be linked below if YouTube allows me to share links. If not, you can find them in my bio. And thank you guys again. I hope you have a good Sunday. Talk to you soon. God bless.